Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Dylan, and I'm back again with my weekly pickups review. Now, if you're new to my channel, this is basically where I just show you what I picked up from my local comic book shop for New Comic Book Day, and I give you a little synopsis of what happened. I try to, keep away from the spoilers. On the big titles that I like, I usually do a spoiler review. I've been kind of calming down on them, but yeah, basically, man, I like to start with my pick of the week, and dude, the last couple weeks have been pretty small, not a lot of books, but this week was a big one, especially for Marvel, and honestly, man, it was really hard for me to choose my pick of the week. Honestly, I always go whenever there's a Donny Cates book. I usually sucker out and say that, but I like to try to steer away from that because I'm always promoting Donny Cates, man. The man should pay me for how much I promote his ass. And I'm gonna say I think that this one, I try to do one that kind of surprised me, and I'll get to it when I get to my indie titles because that would have been my pick of the week, but it honestly didn't come out this week. So I wanted to pick one that came out this week. So my pick of the week that really surprised me, because the first issue was it was good, but it wasn't like nothing amazing. I thought this was amazing though. Hawkeye Freefall issue 2. I believe that the issue was called "Who the F is Ronin?" And dude, the whole time we're trying to figure out who is behind the mask, and everyone thinks it's Clint Barton, as usual, because that's his little secret identity, him being Ronin, and basically Ronin is kind of taking out some of these drug runners, and he's basically stealing from them, and Hawkeye is going to these charity foundations, throwing a bunch of money around, and it's really suspicious, and everyone thinks Ronin is Hawkeye, but Clint swears that he is not behind the mask. So, in this issue, do you find out who's behind the mask, or, you'll have to find out and see. But honestly, I thought this issue was a huge step up. The artwork is a little janky, like it's more cartoonish. I know saying that sounds weird because it's a comic book, but it's just more, I don't know how to say it. It's almost like, it kind of I don't know, man. I honestly don't know how to say it, how to describe it, but it is a different style artwork that doesn't really affect me from the story. But I thought Tony Stark kind of looked a little weird. He was the only one I thought looked a little janky, but I think it was kind of supposed to be that way, because he's the playboy billionaire. But yeah, man, Hawkeye Freefall 2, Rosenberg did his thing on this, and I think you should pick it up, because it's only, if you want to get into some Hawkeye, only going to be 5 issues, so you can't go wrong with that. Next, man, my favorite, one of my favorites, Donny Cates Thor issue 2. This issue was not as amazing as the first issue. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and lie to you guys. This was still a fantastic issue. A lot, going on with Galactus is trying to, feed on these planets to kind of generate his power back, and Thor is kind of having a problem with some of these planets that he's trying to eat, because there's people living on them. So this was a really cool issue. Honestly, man, any Thor fans, I highly recommend this, because this is just absolutely awesome, and there's a dope character that comes in this. I don't want to spoil it, but it was so cool to see him at the end, and I'm so pumped for issue 3. If you're a big Thor fan, dude, you gotta check it out. I think you will be really excited to see this character come back into the Thor world, because we haven't really seen him that much. I remember seeing him, I think I saw him in Guardians of the Galaxy. But yeah, this is one I highly recommend. Dude, just look at that cover, man. Like, the artwork is awesome in this. The covers, it's just, dude, everything about that book, it comes together, and it's just A1. Next, we got Star Wars issue 2, and I noticed, man, a lot of issue 2s coming out this week. This issue was absolutely awesome. Not good enough to get my pick of the week. I don't know if I'd say issue 1 was better. I really did like this though. Funny thing is, I think RB Silva is the one who did this artwork, and he is the new artist that is on X-Men 5, which also he did all the artwork for Powers of X. I knew I recognized the artwork, and I knew I recognized that name. This issue was still awesome. This is a lot more stuff that we find out that we didn't know, and we figure out some things with Lando. You know, everyone's kind of on edge because Lando, you know, turned on them and worked with Darth Vader, and now Han is kidnapped, and basically they're trying to figure out what's going on with Boba Fett. Has he turned Han Solo over to Jabba yet? And we get some Jabba goodness in this. No Boba Fett yet, but I'm thinking he'll be in issue 3. Either way, man, I'm just so excited. Like, this Star Wars story was really fun. I'm just so pumped for the Darth Vader. I'm so pumped for the bounty hunters. My boy John's Comics and Kids, he just put out a little synopsis on what they're doing for bounty hunters, and it looks absolutely awesome. Like, Liber Mayo on the covers, dude. It's gonna be, I'm so pumped. Like, they're going strong with the Star Wars in 2020, and I'm excited to see what they do, man. I'm really excited. Next, we got Conan the Barbarian issue 12. This is wrapping up the Jason Aaron story. Sadly, man, I'm so bummed Jason Aaron's leaving this title, because he absolutely has been killing it. He's been my favorite writing Conan this past year in 2019. But good news, in the back of the solicits, it shows that we're going to be getting a King Conan story from the same team that was writing this first 12 issues. Mohammed Assar and Jason Aaron for King Conan. I'm so excited. So, yeah, if you're a big fan of that, I think King Conan, whenever that drops, that's going to be one you're going to want to check. Immortal Hulk, issue 30. Yo, just look at that cover. Nothing to be said about it, man. This book is a must pick up. Like, dude, it's a cover buy, first off. But honestly, the story is awesome. Look at it. It says up top, you know, the best comic book series of 2019 IGN. This issue was a lot better, and the artwork was fantastic. Joe Bennett is really extending those artistic muscles in this issue. Wow, man, this was really cool, and you gotta check it. I don't know how much you can really give without being too spoilery, but dude, you gotta check this out. It was a great issue, and my boy Gem Mint, he's gonna be tripping if he picked up issue 30, because it's like, who the hell is working for the Matador? He's still busting heads, bro. Like, every issue, this dude is crushing skulls, man. Like, Gem is gonna be like, who the hell works for this guy? Who the hell wants to work for him? Like, as soon as I saw him bust the skull, I'm like, Gem is gonna freak, man. So funny though. Issue 5 of X-Men. Man, I didn't care for this cover at all. Like, not at all. I didn't care for it so much that I even said screw it when there's the big rub all the way down this cover. I was like, screw it. But RB Silva did his thing on the interiors. The artwork is fantastic on the inside. Don't let the cover fool you. They switched up on the artist to RB Silva, the guy who did Powers of X. So I highly recommend checking this out. Hoxpox was amazing. I hope they stick with RB Silva. I hope he wasn't just a one-shot issue for this, because this issue goes like really Matrixy. Like, it was crazy. I don't want to even get into this, because this was a cool issue, and there's a lot of crazy things going on in this. I wasn't a fan how Hickman though handled Wolverine. I don't know, man. It was weird, and I agree with Professor Bill. He was talking almost like he's not a fan of Wolverine, and he didn't. The way he handled Wolverine in that issue, it kind of made him seem like less powerful than he really is. Next, we got Fallen Issues, issue 6. This is going to be wrapping up Brian Hill's Fallen Angels story. No more Fallen Angels after this. And I felt like I was maybe a little too harsh on this story. This issue 6 really wrapped things up quite nicely. I really did enjoy this. I think I might have to go back and reread it. When I read this series, I'm thinking it's going to really tie in, solely to the House of X stuff, and it really doesn't. It was really just its own solo story, but that doesn't mean it was a bad story. It actually was a really cool story, almost like an anime style type comic book in a way. Like you almost feel that that's how this comic was meant to be written. The covers were absolutely beautiful this whole run. The artwork was crazy, a little dark at times, but I still think the artwork was really nice. Here and there, you know, there was some slips where I wasn't feeling it so much, but all in all, this was it's worth the read. It's worth the read. You just gotta read it as its own story, I would say. And we get some big things with Sinister at the end that I thought were really interesting. Next, we got one of my favorites, New Mutants issue 6. We got my boy Ed Brisson back. We got my boy Glob on the cover. My boy Robbie knows what's up. Glob homies for life, man. Dude, this issue was awesome. I've been loving this little side story arc that Ed Brisson has been writing with Beak and his and Angela, or it might be Angel. You know, with these kind of like terrorist guys from the cartel kind of coming in to their home and basically holding them hostage. This issue wraps that whole arc up completely, I'd say. I really hope Ed Brisson comes back to do another story arc. He completely made me a huge fan of Boom Boom. Like, Boom Boom was so badass in the story arc. You know, he shows her off as a drunk, but I love that she gets hit with a power dampener. And then this girl assassin kind of comes at her like, "Oh, you can't do nothing without your powers." And she's like, "You're a moron. You think I need my bombs to whoop your ass?" She's like, she was like CIA since the age of 12. And I love that. I love when a character doesn't need their powers to be a badass. That's just kind of like a bonus. That they can whoop some ass. Period. And Boom Boom showed that, man. Like, there's some characters who are just pure, they're just badasses, period. They don't need their powers. The powers are just a bonus to them, you know what I'm saying? But this issue was so awesome. I love this cover. So cool. Looks like next issue, though, we're going to go back to the Sunspot and all that stuff, and Cannonball and all them in space, so we'll see what happens with that. Next, we got X-Force issue 6. I thought this cover was really cool. Man, Ben Percy's killing it with this story. I'd say there's a first appearance in the back of this too. There's a first appearance in this. I don't know if they give the name of it though, but there is a first appearance, I would believe. I'm pretty dang sure. This beast though in this story is very interesting. He is a beast that seems like Professor Bill is saying it's kind of like a dark beast in a way, but it's not, you know, because they haven't said that. But in a way, to me, I think that this beast is a beast who's finally, taking full of their plan, and he is willing to do whatever for his mutants. And he realizes what's at stake, and he is down to make the hard decision and make that hard call if he has to. Because basically, you find out that Beast is he is the what do they say? The coordinator, and he, like, the way he says it, he's like talking about an orchestra, and he's the guy. He's the guy that, you know, swinging the utensils, you know, guiding all the musicians. I forget the word he uses. But yeah, he basically coordinates everything. He makes all the hierarchy decisions. He runs X-Force basically in a way. He's like the intelligence. And I thought this issue was just really cool. Ben Percy's just been slaying it, and I'm just excited as hell to see what he's going to do with Wolverine. Next, we got Avengers issue 30. We got first appearance of little baby Starbrand Reborn Part 4. Thought this cover was absolutely amazing. I've been really enjoying this Starbrand Reborn this arc. It's been like a cosmic run. We got Blade in space, baby. I mean, what more do you want? Like, this story has just been really cool. You get the after effects, and you figure out that, dude, things might get a little tricky in the issues to come, because, you know, the Avengers always with their heavy heart and always being willing to lend a helping hand, and it might get them in the future. So we'll see what happens, but I have been all in all enjoying this Avengers series. Jason Aaron has been doing a bang-up job, and I just love that he's brought Blade into the Avengers. Like, I just love that he has brought Blade into the Avengers. I can't say it more, you know. Next, we got Captain America issue 18. you know me, I'm buying this for the covers, but the story hasn't been that bad. I thought this issue was actually a step up. The last few issues have been a step up. This has just been a slow-paced read. I think, you know, it's maybe more of a trade read. It's not a horrible read at all. It is a good read. It's just slow-paced and it's a slow burn. In a way, he kind of reminds me of Tom King, Ta-Nehisi Coates, when he writes. But I'm a big Captain America fan, so I'm going to keep picking this up, especially as long as Alex Ross is doing the covers. But it has been a pretty good story, and we get a little U.S. agent in this. And, yeah, man, it was a cool issue, though. It was really cool. Next, we got a little facsimile goodness, the King Size Special, Fantastic Four. We got some Stan Lee and Jack Kirby goodness. I was flipping through this book, man. I didn't read it, but dude, the artwork is spectacular. Just talk about seeing some greatness, man, from two comic book gods. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, this is a cool book, and I can't wait to dive into it. And I'm glad I can add this to my collection because it is super cosmic. You know, Jack Kirby, cosmic goodness. You can't go wrong. Next facsimile, Amazing Spider-Man 347. You know I had to get this. You know I had to. Look at that cover, man. Look at it. It's just beautiful. You know, I'm a big Venom fan with what Donny Cates has been doing. I'm a big Amazing Spider-Man fan. So this was a must-have. I'm really glad to have this in my collection. Maybe one day I'll get the real one. But until then, I got the facsimile, and that's good enough for me for now. Next, we're going to jump into some independent titles. And man, I'll tell you, if this book came out this week, it would have been my pick of the week. But these two issues, they came out a little bit ago. I know that issue 2 came out like a week or two ago, but issue 1 came out a few months ago. Over the Ropes, issue 1 and 2. My boys, Two Brothers Comics, go check them out. They did an interview with the writer of this, Jay Sadlin. I've actually spoken with him myself, and he's a great guy after they did the interview, and I had to pick up these books. I was a big wrestling fan growing up, and these two issues, man, they really made me like really care about this wrestler right here called Phoenix. He is, dude, it's just amazing, man. This story is, if you're any type of wrestling fan, I highly recommend it. I highly just recommend this story, period, because I don't think you need to be big into wrestling to know like all the Easter eggs that Jay Sadlin put in here, but I still think that if you're even somewhat of a wrestling fan, that you will still just love this, man. It's just a great story. It's just a great story, period. And man, I really grew to like this character Phoenix. I only planned on reading the first issue, then doing my video now, and then this issue was so good I had to jump right into it. Issue 2. So man, Mad Cave Comics. Dude, you can still pick these up. I just picked these up this week, and this issue came out maybe a month or two ago, and this just came out a week or two ago, so you can still pick it up. I highly recommend you checking this out. It's definitely worth the read, and it's only going to be about 4 or 5 issues, so, you know, you're not you know what I'm saying, diving into an ongoing. It's just going to be a few issues. So if you want to check it out, check it out. Next, we got Something Is Killing the Children, issue 5. Man, it felt like a while, like over a month since we got the last issue. But this was crazy. This was really violent. It was really action-based. And we kind of learned that there is like a cult of these hunters, man, or something. I don't really know if that's what it is, but something crazy is going on. And dude, man, the artwork in this is really different than what I don't know, man. It's just really cool. Werther Dell'Edera and Miguel Muerto just did their thing on this, and James Tynion. They've just been doing a great job. I really have enjoyed this story arc. I can't wait to see what happens in the future. I just think that this is one to definitely pick up, especially if you're a James Tynion fan, if you're any type of horror fan. It's worth the read. I can't say any much more. Boom Studios has just been doing their thing. Next, we got IDW's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue 102. Sadly, I didn't get my Eastman variant, but it looks like I'll be getting it maybe a week or two late, hopefully, so I ended up picking the A cover up because I had to read this. The interior art in this is just absolutely amazing. so good. I'm excited to get the B cover because I thought this A cover was awesome, but I wanted both actually, so it wasn't that big of a deal. As long as I get my Eastman variant. But dude, this story has just been really cool. If you're any type of TMNT fan, I highly recommend jumping on this because we got Eastman, Campbell, and Pattison just doing their thing on this book, man. They're coming together and they're doing some really cool stories for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And after all the effects of Splinter dying, you know, the TMNT, they're in a rut. They are in a big rut, and they're really depressed, and Raphael is really the only one that's still out and about, like, fighting crime. So it's really cool to see Raphael kind of be like a solo, almost like running around like he's Batman in a way. I swear, dude, it's so cool. Next, we got my little True Believers goodness. We got The Absorbing Man, and then we got Batman Detective Comics, issue 554, all new Black Canary. I think it's just the first costume appearance. I almost wish I didn't. I almost was debating on getting this. I don't know if I should have because I don't think I really care about Black Canary costume change. But this one, I couldn't pass up. This is some Stan Lee and Jack Kirby goodness on Thor. You can never go wrong with that. Never. Next, we got DC that we're ending it with. The Flash, issue 87. Man, this was an awesome issue. Flash being taken to Arkham. He's got to figure out what's going on with the Speed Force. It's out of control. He can't handle himself. He's a danger to everyone around him after he almost killed Captain Cold. And man, there's just, the banter between Captain Cold and Flash is just really cool. It's really made me like this character, Captain Cold, a lot. Commander Cold, I just really have loved what Joshua Williamson has been doing with that character. And he's been killing it with the Flash, 87 issues in. And dude, he's just killing it. This Rogue's Reign story has been awesome, and I highly recommend it. Batman Detective Comics, annual number 3. This was a big book, but it was a fairly quick read. There's actually 2 stories in here. It's mainly Alfred based. It goes into Alfred's past being like a MI6 agent, but Alfred's not around. He's gone. So somebody from Alfred's past seeks out Bruce for their help. So you get that, and it's a pretty cool one-off story. It's really just a one-shot, and the story in the back was it was decent. It was really just kind of about Alfred's love for Bruce and him kind of writing to this MI6 agent that he worked with. But all in all, I thought it was a good issue. Nothing amazing or mind-blowing, but I definitely think that if you're a Batman fan and Alfred fan, it's worth the pickup to get a little backstory on Alfred. Next, we got Justice League Dark, issue 19. I believe this is the Witching War finale. This was an awesome story arc. I love the Witching Hour, and the Witching War was absolutely awesome. Dude, look at that cover, man. Look at that. That's just an awesome cover. We get, basically, it's like Man-Bat is basically interviewing Wonder Woman during this whole issue and kind of, talking about magic and what it means to her. And, we get to figure out what happened and, hearing the side effects of the deal that Wonder Woman made with the Upside Down Man, and how she might have how Zatanna's father might have been right, and that Wonder Woman might have doomed everybody. So the upcoming issues are going to be really interesting. I hope we get to see a lot more of the Upside Down Man, because Upside Down Man wasn't actually in this issue like he was in the last, because I know Jabroni was picking it up just because the Upside Down Man came back. This was still a great issue, but I'm really intrigued to see what the outcome is going to be for this deal that she made with the Upside Down Man. Like, seriously, there's no good that can come of it. you know what I'm saying? That dude is so creepy. We got, last but not least, the Justice League issue 39. We got the wrap-up of Scott Snyder's Justice League run. It is not the end, though. The way that this ended on a huge cliffhanger. huge cliffhanger, almost making me sit there and like I had to read the solicits for issue 40 because I know Vendetti is picking up issue 40. I'm like, is he kind of taking over the story? But no, he's taking on a full new story arc, and this story is just pausing for a moment, and it looks like Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo are going to be continuing this story from the Justice League into their own new story, which I believe I heard it was like some shoot, I forget. Robbie told me what it was called, but it's like a continuation of Dark Knight's Metal, I believe. This was a crazy issue. It's not going to end how you think. I recommend you pick up Hell Arisen because I think maybe some of that might tie into this story arc as well. If not, that's really just the Lex Luthor and Batman Who Laughs story. But this story, the way it ended, like I said, huge cliffhanger, and it was cool, man. And it's got me super, super pumped for what Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo are going to do in their series to come. So, yeah, definitely one to look out for the future. And, yeah, I highly recommend it. And I think that Justice League has been pretty dang cool, all in all. But that's what I picked up this week, guys. Let me know what you guys picked up in the comments down below. You know, I'm always interested to know. I know there was a couple I missed, even though it was still a huge week. But, you know, you can't pick up everything, man. But, yeah, I'd appreciate if you hit that like button on your way out. Hit that subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you get all updates on upcoming videos. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.